Oh,
So we
wow.
need to lean
Amazing.
more into these conversations because, we should be treated fairly and we should be treated equally. And it's much better than it was, but it's not where it needs to be. And it varies based on your manager, based on your loads of experience. Hello and welcome to Self-Discovery in Good Company, episode 7.
7. Took us a while to get that right, but we've been trying to do that bit, haven't we?
We've had like 6 intros. We've tried. Stacey had the 7 come out of nowhere, found it very funny. Then I'm out. But anyway, we got there in the end, and it's maybe not as smooth as we like, but I don't think either of us could be bothered recording it again.
No, we're here and we're just away to get started. It's all good. All good.
We are. So how has your week been, Stace?
Oh, fine. I have been trapped inside for like the last 4 days, only mildly cracking up, but hey, it's good. It means I haven't, I was thinking about a positive of it today, because you know how I like to turn these things into a positive.
Yeah.
And I haven't been anywhere to spend any money really. So
Okay,
that's a positive. That's a
Okay.
huge positive. Yeah.
So when I just made a couple of notes, you didn't just order something off of Amazon.
I need that, Stace. I actually really need that.
I do actually feel like most, 85% of what you buy off Amazon is in like necessity. And that's not me being sarcastic.
No, that is absolutely true. But, I haven't been anywhere to buy myself coffees that I don't need. I haven't been anywhere to spend extra money. So I am like, 2024 has got off to a good start. I've been snowed in, so I can't go anywhere.
I'm trapped
or
in my
spend any
house.
money. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. So we have done very little. My days have consisted of walking Sadie to school and picking her up, and then just trying to entertain 2 almost 10-month-olds like in a living room. That's what I've been doing. But it's been good. I said to my husband on Monday, I was like, do you know what? I think I'm really enjoying this slow paced way of life, just taking things really slow and all that. And then yesterday I was like, are you working from home today? I really need you to work from home today because I can't do this alone another day without nobody. And he was like, I thought you said you were enjoying the really slow paced way of life. And I was like, that was on Monday. I'm not enjoying it by Wednesday. So that's just.
Do you not think we've got a bit of a tendency now to like romanticize things that we're like, oh, how nice is this? I'm going to work from home all day. I'm just going to take it easy. Today, I reversed out of my street. It's the only way my car will get out of my street. It's not even a big hill. It's quite a little hill. Hill's a stretch. It's a slight incline.
I was going to say it's like 5% incline. It's not really much, but yeah.
No, but my car can't get out my street, so I have had to reverse the car up the street a couple of times. An old man was so lovely to tell me that was a way of trying to get out my street. So I reversed out. So yeah, but today I had to go into work because I just felt cabin fevery.
You were like, I'm desperate to get out of here. Yeah.
And I went in and there was hardly anyone there, but it's just a change of environment.
Oh, totally. I am all for that. So no, that's nice for you. That's nice for you. I'm like, what am I going to get up and do tomorrow? And I'm like, probably another day indoors. My street is honestly, I know this is boring chat. My street is terrible. It's terrible with the old snow. But no, I have to get out because it is Sadie's birthday at the weekend. And I was going to be doing stuff this week for her birthday and getting all the stuff I need. And I have not been able to do any of that. So if by hook or by crook, I'm getting out tomorrow. So
yeah, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere as well. It seems to be, it's very pretty to look at, but restrictive.
Yeah, but I'm done. But apart from snow, anything else from you this week, Stace?
So I have a bit of an update. I resigned, not this week. I resigned last year. Yeah, which you obviously know.
Amazing.
I resigned last year. So I am finishing my work. My work has been amazing. I am doing reduced hours from February and then I'm leaving properly in May. So a little while away. So I'm not broadcasting it to people, but a lot of people know now. A lot of people find out on the Christmas night. Maybe not the best way for me to tell people or to have the conversations, but anyway.
Couple of wines in, yeah.
Couple of wines in, because I'm going to do the Personal Growth Collective full time, which is super exciting.
That is so flipping exciting because it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah, I know. I'm really, really excited.
Me too.
So I've been spending quite a lot of time in January just trying to like focus on that as well. And like, as an example, tomorrow I've got another coaching client and my mum's helping me with childcare and stuff. So until I reduce my hours, I've just been putting a bit more focus into that. So that has been my week. And I have got a lovely bunch of clients that I've kicked off the year with.
Yay.
And now I'll have the capacity to take on more. So that is very, very exciting.
So come on, people, get in touch, get some coaching. That's just amazing, Stace. Honestly, I could not be any prouder of you. You are just honestly, you're what I want to be like when I grow up. You're just like such a boss babe, and honestly, such an inspiration. And what an example to set to Harper. So little round of applause for you. Well done.
Thank you. You're so sweet. And it kind of leads us on to a bit of our topic for today. So today we're going to be talking about maternity leave. And when we were brainstorming what we're going to say on this subject, I was like, I actually have loads to say on this. So
yeah,
I'm very excited.
You have a lot of knowledge and a lot of tips in that. So as you will know, if you've been around this podcast before, I am currently on maternity leave with my twin boys. I'm due to go back in May, but I'm so confused as what to do, Stace. It's very difficult. It's very different because obviously there's two of them. That's what the word twins means.
Do you feel cheated out of maternity leave because you got like a 2-for-1? I feel like you should get double the pay.
I feel like I should get double the pay. I feel like I should get double the time off. I feel like I should get double of everything because I've had to make it work on a shoestring. Whereas like when I was off with Sadie, like it was completely different. And, you know, you like, it was just different. I don't know how to explain it. I went back at 8 months, after 8 months with her. I went back to work 3 days a week, put her into nursery, didn't even really think about it. Like, you know, it was just what I was going to do. And so I went back and that was all fine. But with the boys, it's really different because nursery is really expensive for 2 children, really expensive, like to the point where you're like, that's not really worth me working because I'm just paying for childcare. So I'm kind of stuck as what to do about that, about the whole nursery thing. I've been getting in touch with childminders. If you're a childminder and you're listening and you want to look after my children, please let me know.
They're gorge. They're so cute.
They're wonderful. They're wonderful.
And Stacey would be at drop off, pick up.
Lovely little boys.
Poundland Patrick Dempsey.
Yes, you will meet the superstar that is the Poundland Patrick Dempsey.
Lovely.
Honestly, I cannot find a childminder for love nor money. They are, we don't like their turnover. And I can understand this. Like they kind of have people in until like the next set of kids go to school or the next set of kids go to preschool. So August is kind of the time when they start having spaces. None in May. So I'm on every list going for a childminder. I do have a place at 2 places actually at nursery if I choose to go with them. But I'm so confused because I think to myself, do I want to go back to a job and put my boys into childcare and basically not get paid anything? Or do you not go back to work and then still get paid nothing? Like, what is the, do I want to stay in the workplace? Because once you're out of it, then coming back in a couple of years' time is really difficult. Finding part-time jobs is really difficult. And I'm so confused, Stace. I really need somebody to just tell me what to do. And I enjoy the work that I do. I love the team I work with. They're amazing. But it's this whole idea of either way, I'm not going to be getting paid an awful lot because of like the childcare, which I mean, I could get on my soapbox and really speak about this because I'm really quite passionate about it. That I just think, the government and employers, they make it, they can't, not all, that's a sweeping generalization, but they make it really difficult for mothers to go off on maternity leave and then come back into the workplace. They make it really, really difficult. There's, flexible hours, that's amazing. But, to not get any discount to put 2 children into nursery, I'm not saying that that's the be all and end all, but for me, that's a huge thing. It's going to be a huge factor. When I'm coming to decide what I want to do, I just think there's not a lot of options. There's really not. It's really, really difficult. And we love the men in our lives, obviously, the dads, but they don't have this issue. They don't have to decide whether they have a career or whether they stay at home and look after their children. They don't have to make that decision. I mean, some maybe do, but in my case, it's not it's, business as usual. So I'm really, as I've spoken to you about before, I'm in a really difficult spot about trying to figure out what's best. So I'm looking for some coaching today, Stacey. Can you please give me some?
Of course. I am super passionate about this subject for so many reasons. And when we were brainstorming the episode, I was like, I've got loads. I've got to speak about this. I want to speak about this. I think the first thing to speak about is the legislation that is in place in the UK to support parents, particularly working mothers. So there's the Equality Act, which is basically saying if you should, regardless of whether you're pregnant, you're on maternity leave, whatever, you have a child, you should be treated fairly and consistently. And if you're not, then you would have grounds to raise a grievance with your employer in whatever respect. As an example, I had a friend the other day who was just away to go on maternity leave, who didn't think she was treated fairly in her performance review. And she had said, now this isn't really to do with the Equality Act. It could be if she had grounds for actually that she thought that she'd been marked differently or scored differently because of her being pregnant. She's like, will I say anything or will I not bother because, I'm off for the year? I was like, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no. Go and speak and say, that you want to understand, you have looked at the ratings and you feel like this rating is most reflective of where you are. If they don't believe that, then you want to have a conversation to understand why not and what your gaps are and how you can build a development plan to make sure that you are reaching that. And then, I think we shy away from some of those conversations because, I hear so many people, I'm just lucky to have a job.
Oh, or that's me. That's me. I am that person.
I've maybe heard that from you.
Honestly, that is me. I should be just so lucky to have a job. I know.
And that's a lack mentality in a way. And I totally get it. I totally get it. We have this thing that, no one's going to find us employable or we'll never find another job. It's wider than just maternity, but we've got this thing. I was actually coaching somebody on this today. So it's a challenge, but I was like, no, have the conversation. So she did, and her employer her manager, basically said, yeah, you're right. Sorry, that is a mistake. I will change your rating. So we need to lean more into these conversations because we should be treated fairly and we should be treated equally. And it's much better than it was, but it's not where it needs to be, and it varies based on your manager, based on your loads of experience. I am so lucky. I had two of my biggest achievements, I think, were around my maternity leave. And I'm so lucky. And it was because I had a super supportive boss. Yeah. And it just made me feel so valued. So on my last day of work, which was a week early because Harper came early, Ta-da! She
Here I
came
am,
she came at
superstar.
37 weeks. So I was like, she's early. And then my friend had a baby boy who is doing amazing now. He just turned 3. And she had him at 28 weeks and 6 days. So I was like, oh no.
Okay.
He was
you had him early.
I just wasn't prepared. I was just unprepared. That's the difference. Because 37 weeks, she's not super early.
That's technically full term, mate.
Basically full term. But of course, in my true style, I was working right up until I was going to have her. So anyway, I hadn't finished work when I had Harper. I had another week to go. So actually 2 weeks to go. But because I thought she was going to come earlier, the week that she came, I reduced it to a week. Anyway, my last day of work, which I didn't know at the time, I got a promotion.
Smashing.
Now, they didn't need to do that because, it wasn't going anywhere. It's not like I was going to find another job. I was going to have a baby, blah, blah, blah. But I had a promotion. And during my maternity leave, I got a pay rise. Like a month before I came back. So they're 2 of my really proudest things. And it's about me a bit, but it's actually about the company that I was working for, how valued I felt and things like that.
That's
and
amazing.
When I came back to work, I remember my boss was I had a new boss. I came back we're going to talk about you. I'm making this a bit about me.
No, I am finding you really interesting. I want to shy away from my discussion, but
but yeah, I came back to work and within a week, so I had a new boss who hadn't started yet. He started a few months later. A new boss within a 10-day period or something. Harper turned 1. Harper started at nursery. I moved into a new house on my own because I had separated from my husband when Harper was 7 months old, and I went back to work.
I mean, I don't know how you did that. You're amazing.
Yeah, I'm not saying it to be like, oh, it's not that, but I remember I came back and it's so much change. And I remember my boss, who was obviously lovely, and having a conversation with me and being like, so what are your development goals? And I was honestly like,
hey, I'm just trying to make it through the day.
I am just surviving right now. I am surviving. And you worry as well you're like, I'm not going to remember anything. I'm going to be so
I've got all of that. I have got so much fear surrounding going back that I'm like, how am I going to have the mental capacity to take anything else into my brain? Because my brain already feels at capacity.
100%. I would say though, people have a fear around, the organization's going to have moved on loads and I will forget things and I won't be as useful in things. And most of the people I speak to are like, it's not really changed.
Yeah, no. And you know what? And things don't often change that quickly in the workplace in a year. So it's not so much that, it's all a me thing. So,
But yeah. So I think the advice, so there's a lot of stuff like pregnant and screwed, is it?
Pregnant and screwed is amazing.
It's amazing.
Following it.
Oh, are you amazing? Because there's a lot of stuff. I actually wrote to the Aberdeen MSP, whatever, I get confused. Yeah. I wrote to him the other day about a childcare funding issue that I'm having. Basically, I'm not getting paid what I should be paid. So I've challenged it. And then I said, actually, while I'm at it, I think it's absolutely PS because he has to raise it with Aberdeen Council. So I'm like, while I'm at it, I'll also like to raise the fact that 3-year-olds in Aberdeen City, you get free funding 2 intakes per year. In Aberdeenshire, you get free funding 4 intakes per year. So my daughter was 3 in September, and I did not get the free funding until January.
Yes, I know.
And I know somebody who knows somebody. I believe
that's this to be a tenuous link. It must be true.
I believe this to be a true story, who had twins and another child, all in September, all missed out on the free childcare until January. And she worked out that was going to cost her £10,000. In Glasgow, if your child turns 3, the next Monday, you get the free funding.
Wow.
So I wrote and I said, I would also like this And I said, if I need other people to sign a petition, or I have a lot of friends who also find this, and that's actually not even beneficial for me because Harper's now 3 and I'm getting it after a few months. But anyway, it's things like that
that we're just point. It's the principle of it.
It's the equality of it. Yeah. And it's the principle of it. And it makes it really hard for people to go back to work.
Oh, honestly, if I have to wait until the boys are 3, so they're 3 in the March.
Stacey, we planned your C-section around this, remember?
Yes, we did.
Because when you were working out when to have it, I was like, hold on, right. When is the cutoff? Because you don't want to miss the 3-year-old childcare funding.
It's so funny because remember, I was meant to have them on April the 3rd, and you were like, "Oh my God, you don't want to have them in April. You don't want to have them in April because then it'll be July before you get."
Because you never know when that Easter holidays are going to lie. It's very sporadic. So I was like, get that in March, get them out in March, get them out.
Got them out in March, got them out. That is so funny. I forgot about that. But it is so bad. Really, I mean, it's impossible. So what? I'm meant to then just have a 3-year career break, say, to wait until I can get funding to put the boys to nursery. So the world of marketing changes so fast as it is, so I mean, I'd be catching up, and then I don't have the time to catch up that way. So, you want to stay in the environment, but they just make it so difficult for you to.
I think a big factor to think as well is if you were to look at so I've worked for 13 years, let's say, and that, but I've been in a work environment for 12 because a year of that I had maternity, and I'm very blessed. I had a year of maternity leave, but a year of that I was out the office. And actually what you'll find as well, and something to be mindful of, is that has an impact on your pension contributions.
Yes, it stops it, doesn't it?
But it doesn't on your partners. So, you financially are worse off. And then, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but it does happen. 1 in 3, I think it's higher than 1 in 3, couples will split up now and they'll end in divorce. So the pension contributions of the females impacted, it's not the male.
Gosh, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Because you get paid for what you're getting. You get your pension contributions in line with what you're getting paid. And if you're not getting paid, you're not getting the same pension contributions.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Stacey.
And even as well, it is something to think about. We will lift the tone of this podcast at some point, I'm sure.
So this is taking a real nosedive. Now all of a sudden I don't have a pension. I don't have any money. When's it going to turn, Stacey?
I'm going to bring it down in a minute. I'm going to bring it back in a minute. But what I'd say is a factor of going back is maybe you're not going to make, maybe you're breaking even with childcare costs, but it's not stopping you in your career. Not stopping you in your career. It's you're still progressing in your career.
Yeah.
And there's lots of, I'll put up some of the facts in this, which I didn't look at for the podcast, but I read something recently in it, and it's something to do with how far back you'll be after when your child's 10 because of you being a working mother.
Yeah, and bear in mind, I've already had that time before as well. So yeah, that is it's unbelievable, and you don't really think of it at the time because you're just so excited that you're having a baby and life's going to be amazing and stuff like that, which it is. But then it's when it comes to the realization of going back, you're like, how am I going to make this work? How am I actually going to make life work?
And I think that's what I would encourage you to do. So to think about how can you make it work, and be quite practical in that.
Yeah.
So, you and Gav have a great relationship, and how can you split the childcare responsibilities? Because too often it goes on the female, and we can be a bit martyry in that. So,
I know I'm a martyr. This house would fall apart if it wasn't for me. I do everything. No, but I do have an amazing husband who is very, very, I don't like saying the words hands-on because it's well, he's a parent, of course, he's hands-on, but we're both equal parent. So yeah, But I mean, when you're thinking about like school drop off, school pickup, nursery drop off, nursery pickup, like that's all before you even get to work.
Yeah, I know.
It's
So what I would
mad.
say as well is too often we go back and we say, right, I want to go down. I work 4 days. I work 4.5 days, 4.5 days hours. Does that make sense? The
No.
hours of 4.5 days condensed into 4
Oh
days.
yeah, you do
So I
like
work
4.5
longer.
days condensed. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
I get
actually
you.
think in a way it's easier because I co-parent, because one night of that, my child is at her dad's, so I can finish later and I can go in earlier.
Yeah.
And I do sometimes think actually there is big advantages to that, we just go to all the negatives of that, but there is actually advantages of it.
Mhm.
And also it means that I've got a bit of routine. So there's a night he picks her up and then there's a morning he drops her off. So I do think that it's sitting down and being really practical and thinking, right, how many days do I want to work? So say I want to reduce it to 4. Talk to your employer is always my advice to people, and perhaps build your holidays in, because if you're on maternity leave, you will have accrued holidays, and you will be able to take them. A lot of people then take them for a chunk at the end, which is really good. But if you could maybe over 2 months keep 8 days of that holiday and just
Mhm.
reduce to 4 days in the office, but you're still getting paid 5 days because you're just taking your holidays. So you're getting the same salary, and you can almost trial out how that
Mhm.
works, how many hours you're doing. Because I actually had a conversation with someone recently who went back and is now up to their 4 days to full-time hours, because they're
Right.
like, I'm working in the evenings, I'm going in early. Like it is so hard to go down and from a roles and responsibilities perspective to say, right, these are my
I
roles and
know.
responsibilities in 5 days. I'm just going to do 4 days now. You do five
It's
days in four
impossible.
days.
It's
It's
impossible.
impossible.
You're doing 5 days in 4 days and you're just not getting paid for the 5 days.
No. And you
Like
feel like you're
that's
not
it.
doing a good job anywhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
And
at
you end up
home
working
or at work.
extra in the evening, trying
Yes.
to catch up, and then you don't get paid for that either. So
Yeah.
I can see how that is really easily done.
And there is flexible working changes in the UK. So everyone in the UK is entitled to apply for flexible working.
Mhm.
And there's changes to the legislation. So now or soon, I'm not sure, it will be harder for employers to say no,
Right. Okay.
which is really cool. But what I'd say is don't go back in and be like, I want to do 4 days. Because what you'll find is your hours will creep up, and it's a really hard conversation to say, I'm finding actually I'm doing an hour extra a day. So can I get extra pay for that? It's a
Yeah.
hard conversation to have, opposed to I came back 4 days. I'm actually, but I'm still on full-time hours. I'd just like to drop half a day if that's okay. And then I will work that extra half day across the 4 days, and I'll be available for business meetings and any requests that come in on the day that I'm off.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a way easier conversation. So I always encourage people to do that. I think as well, it's a really good thing to find somebody who's a bit of a buddy at work, or someone that has been through a similar experience. Even hopefully something like listening to a podcast like this can help.
Mhm.
So that you can kind of chat things through with people. So like, we've had a few chats about it, Stacey, and you've been like, how am I going to manage it? What am I going to do? And I just think sometimes like a problem shared can
Yeah.
feel a lot
Totally.
lighter. And it makes like, if you've got someone at work who can role model to you, like, well, I did this and I found this
Mhm.
useful. And I think that can be a really good thing as well.
Mhm.
Even just like the fears that you've got around,
Yeah.
I don't
Totally.
remember how to do my job. How do you lock your
I don't
computer
remember
again?
my password to log in. Like, that's
That's a
the
daily
first
issue for me.
problem.
I'm not on maternity leave.
That is the first problem. I don't even remember what my email address is. Like, this is like how bad I am. Like, I totally switched off. Rightly so. I think that you should switch off when it comes to
Yeah,
maternity leave. But I'm like so switched off that I don't even remember what my email address is.
I
I
know.
mean, Stace.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think sitting down with Gav, if I know you're probably doing it anyway, and just being like,
Mhm.
right, how could we make this work? And how can we divvy up the responsibilities?
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
also, if you're going back and you are reducing your hours, looking at your roles and responsibilities, the things that you're involved in, and sitting down with your employer and saying, how can this be less? Because if not, there'll be an expectation that you're doing the same that you were before, and you're
Mhm.
getting paid less and you're working less.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, sounding grim, but sure it'll be lovely.
But I do think so. Let's. Were you going to say something? Because I was waiting to try and
No,
lighten
I was just going to, well, that's what I was hoping that you might do. I was hoping you might
We're
be able
getting
to
there.
light. I
But
was
I
hoping you
would
might be able
say,
to lighten the mood.
I mean, you said it at the start. I think being a working mother is such a positive role model
Yeah,
to set for your children. Such a
I do
positive
agree.
role model.
I do
And
agree.
this is not casting any judgment on people who are
No,
stay-at-home
God,
mums.
no.
That's a choice, which is a fantastic choice. You know,
It's the hardest job in the world that you don't
oh
get paid
my,
for. I'm like,
I'm off tomorrow.
they're
It'll be the
amazing.
hardest day of the week.
It's harder than work,
Mhm.
way harder than work. So honestly, stay-at-home mums, you're freaking amazing.
You
Yeah.
are amazing. You are amazing. And I do think like setting an example of your children that you are, you know, that you have to go to work. Harper, I'll give you that. Harper, I'll say, it doesn't want mommy to go to work quite often. She's not bad, but like she goes through phases with it. And I say, Harper, why does mommy go to work? And she says, for pennies. And I says, and what do we do with pennies? She's like, we go to the castle because I took her to Disney last year. And actually, that was one of my proudest things that I like did that.
Yeah.
You know, as a single parent, and I like because I work, and I'm really fortunate, and that's something that I'm really passionate about because I was financially in a position to leave my marriage because I worked, and you know that's not a this or that, but for me in the circumstances that I was in, because I was able to pay for myself, I was able to leave my marriage.
Yes.
And a lot of people aren't.
I know they're not. And that's really, I find that really, really sad to be unable to even afford to leave a relationship that you're unhappy in. I mean, that must just be awful. It must just be awful.
Completely. So that's a good example and a good role model. And now I was laughing because Harper, like, what does mom go to work for? For pennies, right? This child's getting wiser. I said to the other day, what am I going for work for, Harper? She's like, for pounds. I was like, yes, I am for pounds.
Yes. Mommy's making it rain.
Cost of living. Cost of living.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so there are definite positives to it. And actually, it's like, I enjoy work.
No, it's something for you. Like, I totally, like, you know, I totally agree that, like, you know, I love the team that I work with. We have, like, you know, we have a really good time at work as well. And I genuinely believe that being at work is easier than being here. I genuinely believe that. And, you know, I don't want to lose that side of myself either because, you know, well, I don't want to. I don't want to. But
it's
at the same time, yeah, but at the same time, it would be really hard to leave these two boys and feel like I'm working for not anything. Do you know, it's a really, that's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow that you're thinking, okay, well, I'm working, but I'm not actually going to be taking much home and being able to contribute the way that I would want to. It's very difficult. So it's kind of finding the right sort of balance, I guess. I also think, like, you know, on the flip side, it is actually a huge privilege to be able to be there for your children, like when they're really young. Like I can see it. I'm a Libra, very balanced person. I see it from both sides. I can see why people choose to spend those early years with their kids and just throw everything into it. I can totally see why they do that. But I can also see why people think, this is really hard. I'm going back to work for a break sort of thing. And also, yeah, you've worked hard. Like, you know, you graduated, you've worked hard to get to where you are. You should keep that side of yourself. So I think I'm just still kind of in a place. I've got lots of conversations coming up in the next couple of weeks, which will be really good. And I think they'll really help me figure out, you know, what I'm going to do. But do you have any tips for if I do go back, how I manage my house?
Yeah, definitely. Get a cleaner.
Oh, I mean, she's like part of the family, sis. She's part of the family. Flipping love her. I wouldn't be without her. I'd rather go without anything than a cleaner. That sounds like, again, a very privileged position. When I was working 4 days, I had Friday off, and I just will not use my day off to clean my house. Like I'm not,
Oh.
and I chose to forgo things. Not a lot, Stace, but like I would say to Gav, I'm choosing to forgo because I'm a martyr. I won't buy coffees so I can have my cleaner. And honestly, she just makes my life so much easier. I flippin' love her. She's just the best.
Nice.
And she just
we have the same cleaner. We have the same cleaner, Sharon.
God bless Sharon.
God bless Sharon. She was here today. Obviously, Harper has then ate peas, vegetables, rice, and cheese.
Oh,
Therefore,
no.
you would look downstairs my house and you would not realize Sharon was here today.
Oh, I know, that's the thing.
But she was.
That's the thing. But she was, and she's great, and she really does make life easier. So absolutely.
I think it's things like that. I think it's working out how you can make your life easier.
Ordering my Tesco shop online. That's my other great tip. That's what I can't believe I used to go to the supermarket when
I still do.
somebody.
I know, I need to look
honestly,
into
it's difficult because I go between Aldi and Tesco. Again, boring conversation here. But some days, if I'm not feeling as flush, I go to Aldi, but then end up buying
anymore.
There's not.
No, there's not.
Honestly, it's turning into this podcast, but there's not a lot of difference. There's really not.
But there used to be.
And honestly, me and my sister say all the time, I used to get a full shop for £90, Stacey.
I can picture you two saying this.
Honestly, we used to make it a game to see how low you could get your Aldi shop. But it's not, it's well over 100. It's about 120 now for to feed all of us. And also Aldi doesn't deliver to your door. So they're kind of losing me in that way. The man that comes with your shopping is just the best. And then he doesn't put it away though, which is a bit annoying, but it does make my life easier. It does make my life easier.
And even I think another thing I would say is don't, you're seeing all this meal prep and spend ages in the kitchen. Find things that are easy and convenient for you, and really just look at your day and think where can I save some time, and where can I
slow cooker,
especially working from home.
Honestly, I have a roster of dishes. Monday night you get chili in this house. Tuesday night you get smack ball. One night you get carbonara. I mean, honestly, we are just laden of pasta and rice. But they're so quick for me to do. There's no variety. You just get what you get in this house. But I don't have time to be making new culinary delights. I don't have time for that. So stick to what's in your collection of menus, and you'll be fine. That's why.
And I think as well, it's look at your day, look at your week, and see where you can carve out some time for yourself as well. Because if all you're doing is working and being a mum, where is your time for you and yourself and your your development, your self-care, the things you enjoy? And again, sometimes that's easier as a single parent, because I have set times where I don't have Harper, so that's when I can go to the gym, see friends, do whatever.
That's funny, because Gav and I never used to really agree that we would have that time, but since the boys came and it's been time is of the essence, we have decided that we'll take night about who does bedtime. So on a Sunday and a Tuesday and a Thursday, I don't have to do Sadie's bedtime. Obviously I have to help him with the boys, but Sadie goes a bit later. I don't have to do that. And then I know it's an evening, but it's amazing even just to have those couple of hours to myself, and just scroll TikTok and Instagram. I mean, it's total waste. It's a total waste of time. I could be learning a language, Stace, but I'm not.
Always my thing. I always compare things to
price of a coffee,
a whole Disney repertoire of songs, and I think, God, I could have taught a foreign language.
I know. honestly.
But instead, she goes to bed tonight and she's singing Barbie Girl.
Well, there you go. Like,
I had to
honestly,
be Ken. She had to be Barbie. We did a duet
obs,
at bedtime. Obs.
obs.
But yeah, like I think that is super, super important. And even if it's like 10 minutes a day,
Oh,
1 hour a week, whatever it is, do not lose that,
anything.
because that
No.
is when, you know, if you're in a relationship, that's when it's going to get more stressful and you're going to kind of hold a bit of resentment towards that person because you feel like you're not getting any space for you. You'll be a better mum because of it. Like,
Definitely.
it's that whole analogy, you know, have you heard of it? Where you like, when the airplane goes down, you put your face mask on before you put others. Heard that analogy. So it's almost like you need to take care of yourself
Oh, love
before you're able to properly take care of others.
Well, I do think I am a better mother and also just a better human being in general when I have been given a little bit of time to myself, like just to be alone doing anything. Like, I am a firm believer in mums needing either self-care, a little something to fill up your own cup. I will be a better mother for it because I will be a ratty bitch if I do not get my time. So like, you just have to, like, I do think you have to do that. So I think that's helped as well. Also, my calendar on my fridge, hugely helpful.
Yeah, it's little.
I never used to do this.
Like that.
I never used to do this. And now I've got my little calendar there that I just write things on because I would have forgotten it. Honestly, I'm a changed woman, Stace.
I love that. A lot. I know people who'll sit down like couples on a Sunday and they'll look at their week and they'll be like, right, like a kind of scheduling meeting to be like, okay, whose job's more important that day? Because actually you need to do pick up or you need to do drop off. And I think that the biggest thing is having that support. And even I remember, because I came back after maternity as well, it was COVID. And there was a guy in my team who was like, hi, sorry, need to leave the meeting early. I'm waiting to do school pickup. And I honestly messaged him afterwards. And now he just does it all the time. And I said, thank you so much, because there's such a pressure on the mums to be the ones that are doing all of that, leaving the meetings early. If your kid's sick or whatever, the pressure sits with the mum. So I think having males as positive examples with that is just the biggest thing. And that's all. If you're going to change culture and you're going to change society, it's the people that have the most power that need to make the change. And in our society, in a lot of our workplaces, it's the men. So the men have to advocate for the change for the women. Otherwise, it's really difficult.
That's amazing. I'm going to go upstairs and tell my husband that.
Go tell him.
No. Do you know what?
You'll be like, come to Stacey again.
Yeah, I know. Has she been coaching you again? I joke. I have a wonderful, supportive husband. I really do. I am very, very lucky. But yeah, I'm going to go up and say that. Maybe you could send it in a text, like what I need to say. Like, you know, we need the men to advocate for women. That was really good. I'm going to use that.
We'll make it into a snippet, and then you can let him listen to this.
Send it to him. Yeah, because I think that would be really good.
And I think as well, you just have to be super, like, this would be my last coaching tip to you, is just to be super, super kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you only have 100% of your time that you can give. The analogy that I really like is you're going to be juggling loads of balls. You need to work out the ones that are going to smash and the ones that are going to bounce, because you will inevitably drop a ball.
Stace, your coaching is on fire tonight. I flipping love that. Coming out with all these analogies and that. I'm telling you, that is great content right there. Well done, you.
So that's not bad for 2010, like. So that's what I would definitely say. And actually, a lot of the things that you feel like might smash is the stuff at home. Yeah. So don't feel bad about, and I don't anyway. I used to feel really bad about it, but I really don't that much anymore.
No. There's nothing wrong with giving children a freezer tea every now and then. God, it's fish fingers. It's not the end of the world, people.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's like, I saw a meme the other day. It's like, the only job that you're not replaceable in is your job as a parent.
Yeah. And see,
So,
that's the sort of thing that makes this very difficult decision. Do you know what I mean? That
so I
makes it
think for
difficult.
you, be practical, work things out, write things down, talk to Gav, talk to your work, but also you're really intuitive. So kind of listen to your gut on this one as well.
I will listen to my gut. See
And
what it
know
has
if you
to
do go back, they'll be sick for the first year. This is my boss said this. This is her advice to everyone.
I
When
remember
you
it
go
was
back to work in the first year, they'll be sick all the time. Just be kind to yourself and just know, and it'll get better.
gosh. Honestly,
Building their
nursery.
immunity.
Oh,
A little
honestly,
cesspit of
oh my
infections.
God, they have the immunity of an ox once they finished nursery. I mean, they are strong.
Another benefit of nursery.
Oh, I know. Honestly, I just felt like all Sadie did was like, oh, you've got hand, foot, and mouth now. Oh, you've got like sore throat. Oh, you've got diarrhea. Fabulous. Great. All what I meant to be working. Great.
Oh,
hey, it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. Well, you'll have to keep us posted with the decision that you make.
Yes, I will. I'll revert back in due course. That's some email speak there for you. I'm trying to get back into it. I hope this finds you well. Yeah.
I've never sent an email like that, but I laugh at them all the time. I hope this email finds you well. Here is an email finding me well.
Yeah, I know. Well, seeing as you asked, no, I'm not that well, actually. So maybe it's best to sign off with a kind regards and best wishes.
Kind regards, best wishes. We hope this podcast finds you well. Thank you so much for listening. We're sending you lots of love and we can't wait to hear from you. So any comments, anything that you want to let us know, please do. If you want to rate, review, or subscribe, that helps people find us. I've been told to say that at the end by our podcast editors.
Fabulous.
But have a gorgeous week.
Like and subscribe.
We'll speak to you soon.
Bye.